Hello everyone, so it's Sam and Fee here for another Community Matters interview. We are joined today with the lovely Cara and Kimberley, who are starting up an absolutely fantastic project called the Edventure Project. It sounds absolutely amazing, and I'm really excited to be able to introduce you to them and hear what they've got to say. So I guess you guys, do you want to give a quick overview about what the Edventure Project is?
Yeah, absolutely. So Cara and myself met through a stand in the park here in beautiful Bristol. So you may have seen some of our big stands that we arranged around these parts. So yeah, we met through the Chipping Sodbury and the Bristol stands and park. And I've been in secondary school for several years and have been there throughout the past few years, and even beyond actually, when it comes to things like behaviour management, as we previously discussed, and was the only teacher that was standing up for the rights of the students that attended there, and my own children. So I've got three boys of my own and a stepson, and kind of navigating the last couple of years with them in education. So I had this idea whilst at secondary school that it's not the right way to learn. My kids don't learn by sitting at a desk being told what to think, what to write, what to do and how to do it.
And how to comply.
How to comply. We were just saying that about the language that the teachers use with students, so they're obedient. And I'm not very obedient. So the Edventure Project was born to create a community space for home educated, primarily children and children that are between the system, to have a place to learn, to grow, to experience everything. So you will do maths and English and science and things, but it will be more in a organic and holistic way. We'll do meditation and
at their own pace.
At their own pace, yeah. Sports, gardening, forest skills, all those things in this place, which will be open 3 days a week from October.
Wow, that just sounds
like an adventure project. Yeah.
It's now. Would you consider taking on a 45-year-old student? Because that's the
absolutely. Yeah, we're looking for volunteers.
I want to go back to school. Hearing that, it's I mean, we've seen, haven't we? The education system as it is now it's theoretical, isn't it? You don't leave with, I guess, unless you've got a specific area that you want to go into, which is, again, it's more of that sort of academic meaning. What practical life skills do you, I mean, even, I've been out of the system for years, obviously now, but I didn't leave with anything of practical.
I think through my experience over the last 7 years is that the kids aren't invested in it, they're not engaged in it, and that's where you find them rebelling against the system, and where schools find it tricky with regards to their behaviour management. So their answer is to isolate those children, and that's not the right way to do it, is it?
No, I think for me there seems to be this attitude of one size fits all, and if you don't fit in that box, then actually that's your issue and not the issue with the system, which is obviously completely nonsensical. We all know all kids are so different, and I know between the learning styles of both my children, as I was sort of saying to you earlier, it's one fits into the school system very well, and I'm working from home to try and kind of taper the influence of the school on her, but my son certainly would benefit from this more holistic kind of style of learning and the practical skills and the hands-on learning. That it just sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a situation at the moment with a relative of mine he's SEN, he's got dyspraxia, and he's in his last year of primary, and he's not getting on very well at all, and his teacher is just labelling him. I mean, he actually said in a meeting, oh, he's just like any other 11-year-old, and it's just like he's not taking into consideration his SEN needs in any way whatsoever, and it's just absolutely shocking, really. I just don't, how he's going to get on in senior school, we'll wait and see.
It's really tricky because I suppose as a person that would be labelled as someone with ADHD, so attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, it's probably where I can multitask so well and have all these things going on. But what a fantastic thing to have, and I think that's the thing, is that it's always in as a difference. In the negative, you have to kind of support that thing to fit in, but actually to nurture those differences is incredible. So my eldest son, who's home educated, has left with me at the same time as secondary. Didn't get on with secondary, found it really isolating, couldn't focus in class, wasn't exceeding as well as he could do, has been home educated. We do gardening, he does DIY, he's managed to change the inside of a UPVC, those practical things that will actually serve him well as an adult, and problem solving, critical thinking. But if I can't do it like this, what way can I do it? He does washing, so I get text messages of going, oh, we've run out of fabric conditioner. You know, how fantastic is that? Is that he's done all those? I know, you don't get many. You don't get many kids that do that. Like that. 13-year-olds looking up how to earn money, investing in his community. So he works as a peer mentor and has done a youth award. Incredible, but that's because he's got those opportunities, and because I've just let him be free. But if you put him in that school box, his communication skills aren't there. He won't do well with his writing or his English. So that means that literacy side, we just need to do it round and about. We go outside and do poetry in nature. We use what we've got there. We write our own plays. So he can learn that way. Math skills.
It was really affecting his mental health.
His mental health was just shot. We had to go through the system. So he has got a diagnosis. Again, labelled, but he didn't get any funding to go with it. But it was more for him to know that his brain is wired in a certain way. But again, I think through my education, to do with vibrations, I just think he vibrates at a higher frequency than me. And my middle child, especially, he's a wild child. He'd go into school naked and climb trees, and you know, he's very sensory and that kind of thing. He's just up there, and we talk about the spiritual side of things, and he's on it. He knows, and I don't even have to teach him those things. And I think it's just that open-mindedness, and that mental health, emotional health is linked so much to those things. And if you help them have that education with that adventure, then you're onto a winner, and we'll get healthy, happy kids. Yeah, that's what we want: healthy, happy adults.
Absolutely. And I think it's really important to see, you know, these projects springing up, because obviously home education, you know, prior to the last couple of years was something that people didn't know much about. You know, it was kind of, you know, that alternative society, weird people teaching their kids at home, and then we had the schools being shut, and a lot more people were kind of forced into that situation. And I think what we have seen is a lot more people going, hang on a minute, like actually my kid's learning better, they're happier, you know, and they're seeing this kind of difference between what their child is like at school within the system, being crammed into this box and told what they have to be, to this more kind of free environment where they can pursue things that interest them, learn in different ways. And I think rather than it being kind of frowned upon and being alternative anymore, people are seeing that there is so much benefit to kind of taking responsibility for your children's education and being able to fit that around your child rather than the other way around. So yeah, I'm really excited to see projects like this springing up, and you know, I'm sort of praying that, you know, they kind of just spring up everywhere, so that we can all benefit. You know, I mean, as parents, we benefit from seeing our children happy and healthy and, you know, getting what they need, but obviously, you know, the next generation is our future, and if we can teach them properly, you know, and turn them into happy, healthy adults, then the future looks a lot brighter.
Well, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's sorry, Kim, I was just thinking about the labels that you were talking about. I mean, it's just been weaponized. You know, this is a way for a system that's totally bankrupt. You know, it doesn't provide what it's supposed to, and so any child that doesn't fit into that absolute rigid control system that's got more and more harsh over the years, there's less and less room for questioning and just having a, you know, I don't like the way children are labelled as different, as if they're abnormal because they're not just obedient little slaves that will sit there and just absorb this information and churn it back out. And it's a necessity now. We're seeing, I guess, along with the Great Awakening, it's the younger generations that they are a different frequency. They will not just sit there and be shut up and write down and you know, they're bored senseless. And so
They really are.
Yeah.
what they're calling attention, I don't even believe in half of that. It's just that they're having their souls crushed by this system, and they're rebelling, and they're labeling them to make it, you know, like some kind, as if there's some kind of disability almost. And we can, like you said,
I see it as the opposite. I see it as an ability, and I think that's the thing. I mean, as I was saying to Cara, I just got my son, so he does forest school, so a middle boy who's 5, just got his school reports. So he does forest school stuff and home ed stuff, so he flexes schools at the moment, just whilst I set Edventure up. And but his school stuff's awful, so I wrote it down. He's not met the developmental standard. He's exceptional with his outside learning, his gross and fine motor skills, his maths and science, his vocabulary is amazing, but he doesn't want to sit and write, and he doesn't want to sit in circle time. And actually, and I've said all the way along, I'm not going to make him. I'm not going to make him. They come back with these books. So he's got like 5 different types of reading books and tricky words and this and that. I want him to enjoy reading. I want him to get lost in books and the words and learn through that way. So I said, no, he's not doing that. I want him to love reading. And I think parents, even if they do choose to keep their kids at school, because it's hard, it's a real juggling act to work and home educate. I'm really lucky that I have the opportunity to do that through the other jobs that I do. And I understand why parents may choose for their children to go to school, because they're able then to go to work and provide. But you do have choice in what your kids are exposed to, both with homework, both in lessons. And I think that empowering parents to actually question the schools. I know that a lot of the curriculum has changed with regards to sex education, because we've spoken about and how much they're exposing to children.
It's a big issue at the moment, isn't it?
Huge issue in a way. But then they're talking about all this sexual health and whatever in that way. But I've got an example of a young lady on a period, and the teacher banging on the door to get her out because she was late for lesson, aggressively. That kind of led to awful anxiety. I mean, see, you can't, it just doesn't marry, does it? We're trying to teach our kids to be independent and have these skills within schools, except for you're quashing them, and you're quashing the ability for them to make their own minds up. They don't want them to have their own minds. I think that's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't want them to be free thinkers.
This is an agenda. You know, it is. We see it through all of the systems that, you know, like the foundations of society. Every single one it's a control system, and there's an agenda behind it. And we're seeing that with this introduction of all the, you know, the sex education amendments, and I mean, just it's eye-watering stuff. It's just quite horrifying, the fact that they don't want parents to have any say in what the children are learning. I love the name Edventure. I mean, it that's what education should be like. You know, when you're a child, I do remember but being very young, so infant school, and it's all very, you know, that it was a lot more free, and we were out in nature a lot. We used to do these, and I was so engaged. I remember really being excited about going to school because we were learning really interesting stuff. And for me, and I think this is the same for a lot of people, it nosedived. As I got older, it was more and more of just being sat behind a desk, bombarded with these so-called facts and information, and all you're doing is repeating, you know, parroting. I was always very good at that. I was very academic, but at the same time, I was bored sick. And my interest was
learning from a textbook isn't the same, is it?
No, it's so that like adventure, that's what it should be, learning about the world, and especially the natural world, that we just, you know, because it's part of us, isn't it? And you feel that connection, and you see that it's kind of the light goes out of kids' eyes, you know, when they get to a certain level in education, and it's grueling, and no one really wants to go to school, but the idea that they could go somewhere like your place and actually be really looking forward to it and excited, that's how it should be. And it's very sad, I think, that we've kind of accepted it being any other way.
I mean, sorry,
I was just going to say, and also like for them, learning through play and socialization, because you know you get the children that don't get on with it, and you know they kind of get left out, and you know they don't, or some of them that are being bullied, like for instance one of my relatives, so he feels like he's got no friends, he's on his own, you know, and so what's that going to do to someone's mental health? It's just, you know, and then so the fact that they can go along to somewhere like this and not have that discrimination, and it's just, yeah, I'm so excited. Yeah.
So what age is it for?
So
what are they starting?
Yeah, we're going to be doing 5 to 16-year-olds. So my bag is teenagers.
Spectrum.
My bag is teenagers. I love young people. I just think they're so sparky. Actually, if you go, so we've got a Facebook page and a website, but the Facebook page is the Edventure Project, CIC. So we're a community interest company, so there's no profit. This is done through love and love and light. But yeah, I mean, the teenagers that I've worked with over the 7 years, I asked them for testimonials actually, because I think a lot of it will be worded better by the kids that have experienced the way that I teach. And so there's really great testimonials on there from young people, from teenagers, because I think it's good with youngsters because they come out and do den building, but at a certain point, den building becomes close for the younger ones. So, but I tend to still teach and learn still with that hands-on thing. So those life skills, first aid, that's one of the first things I want to do with all of the kids from 5 to 16 is first aid. So they can look after each other, take responsibility for each other and each other's well-being, money skills and life skills. So all the way from 5 to 7 will be a lot of play-based, natural stuff, group learning there, and also with the older ones, mentoring the younger ones as well, because I think that relationship works really, really well. And then we've got the middle age group, which is 8 to 11. And they'll just be stepping it up a bit, so just exposing them to more, engaging them in more things. And then as I said, with the older ones, I've got onto ASDAN, which is another type of certification or qualification that I do with my eldest, but it's project based, which means that you can differentiate it, you can tailor it, you can discuss it as a group and to achieve that certain thing. And the level 2s are equivalent to a GCSE. So it means that actually if they want to do post-16 stuff and they do want to go back into the system and college or apprenticeships or whatever, they have that option to be able to get qualifications there. So I just wanted to offer a full bag. We're only looking for about 30 kids at the moment, because that's what the site can kind of hold, and the ratios with adults to kids, but bigger and better things, you know. this is just the start.
Yeah.
Is this something, sorry, Cara, just quickly, is this something that you're looking to, you know, spread throughout, you know, blueprint, other people can
Yeah, but there's nothing else in the area.
There's nothing else in South Gloucester. There's a couple of self-directed home education learning places, but they're not awakened as far as I know, because they we won't have hand gel. Just putting it out there. We will wash our hands in mud or the river, or aloe vera and lavender. So it's educating kids on that, even healthcare, like painkiller rather than alcohol, which I'm a huge believer in. But it's just that kind of education. So as far as I'm aware, from the places that I've visited and connected with, just to kind of share information, yeah, there is nothing like this in South Gloucestershire. So and yeah, I mean, in my mind's eye, we're going to have a farm. We're going to have like massive vegetable patches eventually, and
eventually have our own
land. So one day.
It sounds like heaven, but it's a great way for, you know, it's kind of one of those build it and they will come things, and you will have more and more people wanting to set up similar things. And it's, you know, it's people like you, it's the pioneers that make it possible, because once you've got that blueprint, you know, anybody can take it and, you know, mold it to their needs. But I'm seeing a lot of parents that are looking for something like this, where it's the burden isn't fully on them for doing the home education, because like you say, not everyone can do it. So many people, they're working full time already, and it's not necessarily something that everyone could do, or that would even suit all children. You know, they want that in between, to have that structure, much freer structure, but still, and mixing with the other kids, of course, is so important, the socialising.
It is, because home education can be quite isolating for parents. So we hope to connect with families as much as the kids as well. Yeah, it's like I said, it's that holistic overview of offering this community place, and it's slightly being in the system, so we've had to register it as a CIC and do that kind of bit. But because it's consent based, it's making sure that if we do have home educators that come along and they are vaccinated, that's fine. If they do want to use hand gel, that's fine. It's about acceptance, isn't it? And
very important.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think that's where we're at. So we don't actually open until October. So the Adventure Project is just a wooden structure
under construction.
Builds, literally. So the old Scout Hall was demolished, and it's just been rebuilt now. That's through the Scouts, and it's going to be a community hall. But I used to be a Scout leader several years ago, which is how I know about the land and the place. And I sent an email, funny enough, over 18 months ago. So this is how long it's been in my brain to say, oh, what's going on? Is there any opportunity to do something for these types of kids? And so hopefully October the 8th-ish, that's when we'll be open. We're going to do some open days in August and September.
And some fundraising.
We're doing fundraisings.
I was going to give you the opportunity to bring that up. Obviously, developing a site like that is gonna, it's a lot of money. So if there are, we will put the link to your fundraiser. If there's anyone that this resonates with that would like to help this project get off the ground and be developed, I think it's a very worthy cause.
Yeah, at the moment we're trying to apply for grants, but the local authority aren't, they're not giving much out, are they? So
why do you want home educate is what I keep
We've got schools, put your kids in the system.
It's a lot of hoops, isn't it, to jump through, and that's it, just even for a few grand. But yeah, give what you can if you can do anything. I mean, even £3 would buy a football, for instance. Do you see what I mean? And yoga mats. all things like that. A shed to store the things in, a canopy for the forest school.
Yeah, forest school equipment, sports equipment.
So it's all bits like that. I've got a lovely shopping list. I did a doodle of what I want it to look like, and it's just all bits like that: books, pens, paints, saws, all different things for the kids to be able to get to hands on and learn with. And every penny does count. It can all be used for the project to help these kids. And although we will only start with around 30, like I said, you know, if we get more people interested and the site can take us and hopefully find our own land one day, then it will get bigger and better.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah, absolutely. It is.
Ambition, determination, and vision. That's the biggest part of it, isn't it, really?
Not much with a stand in the park. I know that up on Bristol on the Downs at the very early doors of, what was it, like February and March? Was
Yeah.
it 18 months ago? Like, we started with 10, and now we've got loads around Bristol, and we have these big ones, and we all go to London, do the marches together. And Jam for Freedom was in St Andrews a few weeks ago. We have all these barbecues, and that's amazing. It's that connection, isn't it? And this whole new community, and how fantastic is that? It's just, so from your idea, you know, it's just following on.
It's just how things spread, don't they, and grow, and it's that community. Yeah, it's just, it was always about bringing people together and seeing what happened. There was never like a goal, but what we're seeing now is like, it's beyond my wildest dreams, because like, you know, you come together at a stand and this has come out of it. It's just having those initial connections, finding our tribe, and going from there. And we're seeing just the amazing creativity of different groups of people, and we inspire each other. So with your project, you know, that gets the cogs turning in other people's heads that have been thinking of the same thing. And we just have to kind of be the example, really, just be the change that we want to see, and it all follows on. So it's very exciting to hear about, and we'll definitely have to catch up and hear about how it's all going. And
come back after the launch or something, once you open, and you can tell us how it's going.
Oh, I can't wait. I'll get the kids involved in showing you around. That's what you know, I want them to be fully invested. It's it will be their place as much as our place. And so yeah, they'll be able to show you around and show you what they've been up to and what they've learned, and all through the seasons as well. So we'll be open all through, which would be amazing. And yeah, I just can't wait.
Excited now.
Oh, that would be great. That would be lovely to see that. So, oh, well, thank you. Is there anything else you would like to?
I think we're pretty good, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to ask us?
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh, it's a good question. It's
That's a good question. Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. I think we've sort of covered everything, sort of what you're all about and what you're doing. And oh god, yeah, I would love to be able to send my son. I think my son would just absolutely love it. He would thrive.
I think if anyone does want to connect, we're absolutely open to messages as well. So through the page, if you've got an awakened education community and you're looking for the support or advice on what and how to do things, then just give us a message. So that's absolutely fine.
And a follow on Facebook or a like on Facebook, and then they can keep up to date with what we're doing.
We'll pop all the links whenever we post the video. We'll pop all the links to your website, which I've had a look at and is fantastic. The testimonials on there are brilliant. I've read some of them from the kids, and it's wonderful to read. You do kind of feel that, you know, joy coming from them, that they love what they're doing. We'll put the link to the website, Facebook page
as well. So that goes to show a lot actually about the connection that adults can have with young people and children. Yeah. If you're on that same wavelength, I suppose, for want of a better word, and you invest and engage yourself as much with them as you expect them to do with you. It's about respect, isn't it? Yeah. Then that's what happens. And all those kids, I know what they're up to. You know, some are nurses, some are builders now, and You know, these are all adults, and it's amazing for them to reflect on their time just in my classroom about what was important. And actually, none of the academics were important in all those testimonials. That they don't remember that academic stuff. They remember that holistic nurturing that we had in that classroom, which feeding them toast, like is in one of them, and actually just so they don't get their bellies before. It's just a huge thing, isn't it, really? So that's what the Edventure Project will be about. It will be about helping these young people grow into healthy adults.
With a holistic approach.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for all you're doing. I wish you the very, very best of luck with getting it all set up and started. And yeah, we do look forward to hearing from you once you get going. And thank you so much for coming on and talking to us.
It's been great.
Yeah, it's really inspiring.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you.
anytime. Yeah, we'll be sharing your posts and, you know, just getting the word out there. So thank you again, and yeah, we will catch up with you, I'm sure, soon. So take care, ladies, and we'll see.
Thank you.
Thanks, and we'll be on another interview every Friday. We put these out, so yeah, keep watching. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.